Hello, my name is Talia Martinez, a safety consultant with the Kentucky Education and Labor Cabinet. This webinar covers the 2021 ANSI ASSP Z359.14-2021 Fall Protection Update. This update goes into effect August 1st, 2023. In this presentation, we will discuss the updates to ANSI ASSP Z359.14-2021 regarding fall protection and self-retracting devices for personal fall arrest and rescue systems. Also provided in this presentation are important dates regarding the update. We will discuss the key changes in the update, such as testing requirements and capacity requirements. The new standard applies to all self-retracting devices that are used in jobs and tasks that require personal fall arrest systems, including rescue systems. The last revision to the ANSI 359 standard was in September of 2014. The most recent update establishes requirements for performance, markings, and labels, qualification and load testing requirements, and design of self-retracting devices. On June 17, 2021, the American National Standard for the Safety Requirements for Self-Retracting Devices, or SRDs, was approved with an effective date of August 1st of 2022. The update was published on July 6th of 2021. However, the effective date was revised to be effective on February 1st of 2023. This date was then again pushed back in the beginning of 2023. The new date for the update to take effect is August 1st of 2023. Obviously, there are some key changes from 2014 to 2021. The purpose of this module. Let's jump into it. The classifications of self-retracting lanyards have changed, and some classifications have been removed entirely. Another significant change is that the class or type labeling for self-retracting devices has had a makeover, including the look and names of classes. Another key change in the update is the different situations where self-retracting lanyards are allowed to be used, based on the new categories and requirements. One of the final key changes is that there were some updates to testing requirements. We'll dig deeper into each of these changes later on. There are some key changes from 2014 to 2021. The qualifications for self-retracting lanyards have changed. This also means that their allowable usage has changed as well. In 2014, the classifications for self-retracting lanyards were SRL, SRL-R, and SRL-LE. The 2021 updated classifications for self-retracting lanyards are SRL, SRL-R, and SRL-P. The 2021 revision introduces SRL-P for a personal self-retracting lanyard and removed SRL-LE as the leading edge self-retracting lanyard. The SRL-LE will now fall under the new Class 2 designation. We will discuss the new class designations next. The 2021 revision maintains SRL and SRL-R as the same classifications in the 2014 revision. An SRL is only to be used when anchoring overhead. SRL-P are devices that can be mounted on or to the back. And SRL-R devices are to be used for rescue or retrieval only. Though there are a lot of changes that have been made in the 2021 revision, there are some things that have not changed, such as the sharpness measurement for leading edges. It remains at 1/1000th of an inch, or 0.005. The classes of self-retracting device classifications were updated. Class A and Class B from the 2014 update have been changed to Class 1 and 2 in the 2021 update. Class 1 SRDs, or self-retracting devices, are for use with anchorages that are at or above the dorsal D-ring. The maximum allowable free fall cannot exceed 2 feet. The Class 2 SRDs, or self-retracting devices, are for use with anchorages above or below the D-ring, with a maximum allowable free fall up to 6 feet. The webbing and synthetic ropes that are used in Class 2 devices are now required to have a minimum tensile breaking strength of 5,000 pounds. This is an update from the 2014 revision, which required the tensile breaking strength to be 4,500 pounds. The 2021 update added in a new requirement that Class 2 devices are now required to have an integral energy absorber on the lifeline. This energy absorber must meet all of the ANSI ASSP Z359.14 testing requirements or independently meet the ANSI ASSP Z359.13 requirements. For SRL-P devices, where the device attaches to the user's D-ring instead of the anchorage, no energy absorber is required on the lifeline. The self-retracting device must provide some means to dissipate the arresting forces. The 2021 version updated the static strength test. The update now requires that self-retracting devices must be capable of withstanding a 3,600-pound static load for 1 minute with the lifeline constituent fully extracted. This is an update to the 2014 revision, which required a 3,000-pound static test. The 2021 revision introduces that any self-retracting device that does not incorporate an internal braking system must hold a minimum of 1,800 pounds static load while the brake pause or other brake activation system is engaged and locked with at least 75% of lifeline constituent remaining on the drum assembly. The 2021 revision also now requires a warning card to be provided as a separate card insert with each self-retracting device. You can see here the requirements for labeling Class 1 and Class 2 self-retracting devices. The shape which contains the class designation is to be either a 1/2 inch or a 1 square inch icon. Depending on the size of the square icon would then determine the requirements for the font size and the style. Now, the cool thing about these labeling requirements is the color of the boxes. You can see that the Class 1 box is white with black font, and that the Class 2 box is black with white font. This can be used as an advantage for either the user of the self-retracting device or personnel that are doing a safety audit. The color of the boxes allows a person to be able to determine the class of the self-retracting device without having to be able to read the words that are actually in the box. From at least 5 feet away, if the box is within view, a normal person will be able to see the box, whether it be black or white, and will then be able to determine the class of the self-retracting device and if it's being used as it should be. Though there were some major changes to the product, labeling, and markings, there were a couple things that remained unchanged. Leading edge sharpness remains at 1,000th of an inch. There are still no provisions for testing on any substrate besides steel. Claims for approval on other substrates, such as concrete, are done by the manufacturer, and they are non-standardized. SRL-P and Class 2 devices can only have up to 48 inches of line outside of the SRL housing when they're fully retracted. This is a decreased amount than the previous revision, which allowed 60 inches of line outside of the housing. There are some new additions included in the 2021 update. SRL-P devices with twin or dual legs have to hold at least a 3,600-pound load applied from leg to leg. SRL-P devices that are designed to wrap around an anchor point or to tie back onto themselves have to hold a load of 3,600 pounds applied after they have completed 2,500 cycles of abrasion testing with the lifeline constituent wrapped around a testing I-beam fixture. SRL-P and Class 2 devices do not need to retract after the overhead dynamic performance tests. Class 2 SRL-P devices have to include a clearance requirement label. SRL-P devices have to pass a dynamic performance test with a 310-pound weight and a 6-foot free fall and keep the maximum arresting force at 1,800 pounds or less. In the 2021 revision, test mass has increased to 310 pounds. This is an update to the 2014 requirement, as the old test mass requirement was 282 pounds, or 300 pounds depending on what was being tested. In regards to overhead performance testing, there are a few changes. In the 2021 revision, the Class 1 and 2, the maximum arresting force remains 1,800 pounds of force. In the 2021 revision, the Class 1 and 2 average arresting force is 1,350 pounds of force, instead of the 2014 requirement of 1,350 pounds of force for Class A and 900 pounds of force for Class B. In the 2021 revision, the Class 1 and 2 arrest distance is 42 inches, instead of Class A being 24 inches and for Class B being 54 inches. Another update in the 2021 revision is that during ambient dynamic performance testing utilizing a 300-pound test mass, the average arresting force allowed has been increased from 900 pounds to 1,350 pounds, and the arrest distance has been shortened to 42 inches. For the conditioning tests, average arresting force remains at 1,575 pounds, but the arrest distance is now 42 inches. Compared to the previous revision, both arresting distances are down from 54 inches, with conditioning temperatures and times remaining the same as the previous. Introduced in the 2021 revision, SRL-P devices must pass a dynamic performance test with a 310-pound weight and a 6-foot free fall and keep the maximum resting force at 1,800 pounds or less. The lifeline does not get pinned or restrained to prevent retraction in this test. Also introduced in the 2021 revision, Class 2 self-retracting devices must pass a dynamic test over an edge with a 310-pound weight, and the average arresting force must not exceed 1,350 pounds, and a maximum arresting force cannot exceed 1,800 pounds ambient, and average arresting force cannot exceed 1,575 pounds conditioned. Another thing that was introduced in the 2021 revision, SRL-R function tests are the same, but static testing when in retrieval mode is now 3,600 pounds. This is an increase from the previous 2014 requirement of 3,000 pounds. A final thing that was introduced in the 2021 revision was that self-retracting lanyards with internal brakes must pass a test with the lifeline shortened to 42 inches, then have 36 inches plus or minus an inch clipped out, then have a 310-pound weight free falling 2 feet, and must maintain a maximum arresting force at 1,800 pounds or less. So now the question is, do you have to throw out items that were made to be in compliance with the 2014 revision? No. Keep in mind that this update affects new devices only, meaning that devices that are manufactured on or after August 1st of 2023 will need to meet the requirements that we've discussed. As a result, products manufactured to previous revisions of the ANSI Z359.14 standard may continue to be used as long as the product continues to meet the inspection requirements as defined by the manufacturer, conducted at the recommended intervals by the competent person. The information and requirements discussed in this webinar go into effect on August 1st of 2023. Thank you for viewing this webinar. Information regarding OSHA's fall protection requirements can be found at kysafe.ky.gov under the e-training tab.